Why do some of the brightest minds struggle the most when it comes to matters of the heart? It seems counterintuitive. After all, intelligence is often associated with problem solving, adaptability, and deep understanding. And yet, for many highly intelligent individuals, love presents a challenge unlike any other. Their ability to analyze, predict, and rationalize often works against them in relationships, where intuition, emotion, and vulnerability reign supreme. The paradox runs deeper than we realize. Intelligence allows people to navigate complex systems, decode hidden patterns, and anticipate consequences with precision. But love is not a puzzle to be solved or a formula to be mastered. It thrives on unpredictability, emotional depth, and moments of unfiltered authenticity, things that even the sharpest minds may find difficult to embrace. This struggle manifests in various ways, from overthinking every interaction to setting impossibly high standards. Some retreat into intellectual superiority, while others fear intimacy because they perceive it as a risk to their independence. The emotional intensity of love can feel overwhelming, even threatening, to those who rely heavily on logic. In this exploration, we will uncover 8 key reasons why highly intelligent people often find themselves at odds with love. Each reason reveals a different facet of this intricate struggle, how intelligence can both illuminate and obscure the path to meaningful connection. Through real-life stories and psychological insights, we will examine how overthinking, emotional vulnerability, perfectionism, and other traits shape the romantic experiences of those who think deeply. By the end, you may find yourself reflecting not only on the minds of others, but also on your own relationship with love and intelligence. For highly intelligent individuals, the mind is both a gift and a trap. Their ability to analyze situations with precision allows them to foresee potential problems, weigh consequences, and craft logical solutions. However, when applied to love, this same analytical prowess can become a double-edged sword. Every conversation, every glance, every text message is dissected, scrutinized, and reinterpreted. What was once a simple exchange between two people becomes a labyrinth of possibilities, where every action is weighed against 1,000 hypothetical outcomes. Take the case of Dr. Elena Ramirez, a cognitive neuroscientist whose work revolves around decoding human behavior. In her professional life, her analytical mind is an asset. She can identify patterns in complex data sets and make breakthroughs that elude others. But in her personal relationships, that same skill becomes a burden. She recalls a conversation with a romantic partner where she overanalyzed a seemingly casual remark, interpreting it as a sign of disinterest. Instead of expressing her concerns openly, she withdrew, convinced that the relationship was already doomed. Her mind, trained to detect subtle cues, had turned against her, transforming a minor uncertainty into an insurmountable obstacle. This tendency to overthink is not just about misinterpreting signals. It also affects how intelligent individuals approach emotional intimacy. Love requires vulnerability, spontaneity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But for those who see the world through a lens of logic and analysis, uncertainty feels like a flaw to be corrected rather than a natural part of human connection. They may hesitate to commit fully, waiting for the right moment or the perfect alignment of circumstances, only to realize that such a moment rarely exists. Their minds race ahead, constructing elaborate narratives about potential failures, and by the time they catch up to reality, the opportunity for genuine connection has passed. The neuroscientific explanation for this phenomenon lies in the brain's heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for reasoning, planning, and decision-making. Highly intelligent individuals often exhibit increased activity in this area, allowing them to process information more deeply. However, this same neural efficiency can lead to overanalysis, especially in emotionally charged situations. Instead of trusting their instincts, they default to logic, attempting to solve love as if it were a mathematical equation. The result is a cycle of doubt, hesitation, and emotional distance. Ultimately, love demands surrender, something that does not come easily to those who thrive on control. While intelligence equips people to navigate complex intellectual landscapes, it can also make them prisoners of their own thoughts. The challenge lies in learning when to let go, when to trust emotions over logic, and when to accept that not every mystery of the heart needs to be solved. For many highly intelligent individuals, emotional vulnerability feels like a risk too great to take. Their minds are trained to seek control, to anticipate threats, and to protect against failure. In the realm of love, this instinct manifests as a deep seated fear of exposing their true selves. They may appear composed, even detached, but beneath the surface lies a constant battle between the desire for connection and the fear of being truly known. Consider the case of Dr. Adrian Cho, a renowned theoretical physicist whose groundbreaking work has earned him international acclaim. In his field, he thrives on precision, clarity, and the pursuit of absolute truth. But in his personal life, the pursuit of certainty becomes a barrier to intimacy. Adrian grew up believing that vulnerability was a weakness, an idea reinforced by his early experiences. As a child, he was often misunderstood by his peers, labeled as too serious or too intense. When he finally opened up to someone he trusted during his teenage years, the betrayal that followed left him with a lasting fear of emotional exposure. Now, in his romantic relationships, Adrian finds himself constantly analyzing his emotions, searching for logical justifications before allowing himself to feel deeply. He hesitates to share his insecurities, convinced that doing so will make him appear flawed or unstable. His mind races with potential consequences. What if his partner sees him differently? What if they lose interest? What if he is rejected for who he truly is? These fears are not unfounded. Everyone experiences moments of doubt. But for Adrian, they are magnified by his tendency to overanalyze every possible outcome. This fear of vulnerability is not unique to Adrian. It is a common struggle among highly intelligent individuals. Their ability to foresee potential risks makes them wary of emotional exposure. They perceive vulnerability as a gamble, one where the stakes are their own sense of self-worth. To them, love is not just an emotional experience but a calculated risk, and the possibility of pain often outweighs the potential for connection. The irony is that true intimacy requires precisely what they fear most, letting go of control and embracing the unknown. Without vulnerability, relationships remain superficial, built on logic rather than emotional depth. And yet, breaking this cycle is no easy task. It requires confronting deeply ingrained fears, learning to trust despite uncertainty, and accepting that love, by its very nature, is unpredictable. Highly intelligent individuals often approach love with the same rigor they apply to their intellectual pursuits. They set expectations that are not only ambitious but sometimes unattainable, believing that the perfect partner must meet an exhaustive list of criteria. This tendency stems from a natural inclination to seek excellence, to refine and optimize every aspect of life. But when applied to relationships, this pursuit of perfection can become a silent saboteur, preventing meaningful connections from forming. Take the story of Maya Lang, a successful tech entrepreneur known for her relentless drive and meticulous attention to detail. Maya had spent years building a thriving career, and when she decided to pursue a romantic relationship, she approached it with the same strategic mindset. She created a detailed checklist, traits she deemed essential in a partner: intelligence, ambition, cultural awareness, emotional maturity, and a shared sense of humor. Anything less, she reasoned, would be settling. At first, Maya's approach seemed effective. She met several impressive individuals who checked many of the boxes on her list, yet something always felt off. One partner was brilliant but emotionally distant. Another was kind and supportive but lacked the intellectual curiosity she craved. Each time, Maya found herself analyzing the gaps, wondering if she had made a mistake. The more she searched for perfection, the more she became disillusioned. Eventually, she found herself alone, frustrated by the realization that no one could meet all her expectations. This pattern is not uncommon among highly intelligent people. Their analytical minds naturally seek to optimize outcomes, and in relationships, this translates to an unconscious belief that there must be a best possible match. However, love is not a formula to be solved. it is a dynamic, evolving experience. Relationships require compromise, growth, and the ability to embrace imperfection. By setting rigid standards, intelligent individuals may inadvertently reject potential partners who could bring unexpected joy and fulfillment. Moreover, the pursuit of perfection can create an imbalance in the relationship itself. When one person holds the other to an almost unattainable ideal, it places immense pressure on the partner to perform rather than simply be. Over time, this dynamic erodes trust and intimacy, leaving both individuals feeling disconnected. The irony is that the very traits that make highly intelligent people exceptional, precision, vision, and ambition, can, when misapplied, become obstacles to finding lasting love. For many highly intelligent individuals, confidence in their intellectual abilities can inadvertently translate into a sense of superiority in their relationships. This perception is not always overt, some may not even be consciously aware of it, but it subtly influences how they interact with others. They may expect their partners to match their level of insight, anticipate their thoughts, or appreciate their knowledge without effort. When this expectation is unmet, frustration can arise, leading to a dynamic where the intelligent individual feels isolated or misunderstood. Dr. Adrian Cho, the theoretical physicist mentioned earlier, often found himself in this predicament. His conversations with colleagues were filled with stimulating debates and rapid exchanges of complex ideas, but in his personal relationships, he struggled to find the same depth. He expected his partners to engage in discussions about quantum mechanics, philosophy, or advanced mathematics, assuming that intelligence was the primary measure of compatibility. When they failed to keep up, he interpreted it as a lack of depth rather than a difference in perspective. Over time, this mindset led him to feel disconnected, as if no one could truly understand him. This sense of intellectual isolation is not uncommon among highly intelligent individuals. Their minds operate at a different speed, processing information and drawing connections that others may not immediately grasp. While this can be an asset in professional settings, it can create a barrier in personal relationships. Partners may feel as though they are constantly playing catch up, struggling to meet an unspoken standard of intellectual engagement. This dynamic can breed resentment, as the intelligent individual may unconsciously dismiss their partner's contributions, believing that only ideas of a certain complexity are worth considering. Furthermore, the belief in one's intellectual superiority can hinder emotional intimacy. When a person assumes that their perspective is always the most logical or insightful, they may struggle to listen without judgment or offer genuine support without trying to solve their partner's problems. This can make their partners feel unheard or undervalued, ultimately pushing them away. The irony is that true connection often requires humility, the willingness to acknowledge that intelligence does not equate to emotional wisdom. Without this awareness, highly intelligent individuals may find themselves trapped in a cycle of intellectual brilliance but emotional distance. For highly intelligent individuals, love is not just an emotional experience, it is a philosophical inquiry. They do not simply fall in love, they analyze the meaning of love, question its permanence, and grapple with its existential implications. This depth of thought can be both a gift and a burden. While their intellectual curiosity allows them to explore love on a profound level, it can also lead to overcomplication, making relationships feel like puzzles to be solved rather than experiences to be lived. Consider the case of Maya Lang, the tech entrepreneur who approached love with the same meticulous strategy she applied to her career. Despite her initial confidence in her checklist of ideal traits, she found herself plagued by deeper questions. Was love truly compatible with long-term happiness, or was it merely an illusion created by evolutionary forces? Could a relationship truly withstand the test of time, or was the very concept of lasting love a societal construct? These thoughts were not idle musings. They were persistent, intrusive doubts that clouded her ability to fully immerse herself in a relationship. This existential questioning is common among highly intelligent individuals. Their minds naturally seek patterns, meaning, and coherence, but love resists such structures. Unlike scientific theories or mathematical proofs, love is fluid, unpredictable, and often illogical. For those who thrive on certainty, this ambiguity can be deeply unsettling. They may find themselves caught in cycles of doubt, questioning whether their emotions are genuine or merely chemical reactions, whether their partner truly understands them, or whether love itself is even worth pursuing if it cannot be fully defined. The result is a paradox. The more they understand about love, the more elusive it becomes. They may recognize that love involves vulnerability, imperfection, and the acceptance of uncertainty, yet their analytical minds struggle to embrace these truths. Instead of surrendering to the experience, they attempt to dissect it, searching for an answer that may never come. In doing so, they risk distancing themselves from the very thing they seek: authentic connection. Ultimately, the existential depth that makes highly intelligent individuals so fascinating also makes them vulnerable to overthinking. Their ability to see beyond surface level emotions can be a strength, but without balance, it can become a barrier to experiencing love in its rawest, most meaningful form. For highly intelligent individuals, the pursuit of knowledge and growth is a defining trait. They thrive on intellectual stimulation, constantly seeking new ideas, experiences, and challenges. However, this same drive can become a double-edged sword in the realm of love. The fear of emotional stagnation, the worry that a relationship will eventually lose its novelty, can prevent them from fully committing to a long-term partnership. They may find themselves drawn to the excitement of new connections, always searching for the next intellectual or emotional high, only to grow restless once the initial thrill fades. Dr. Elena Ramirez, the cognitive neuroscientist mentioned earlier, experienced this cycle firsthand. She was captivated by the intellectual depth of her partners, drawn to those who could engage in deep conversations about neuroscience, philosophy, and human behavior. The early stages of a relationship were exhilarating, filled with passionate discussions, late-night debates, and the thrill of mutual discovery. But as time passed, the conversations began to settle into familiar patterns. The excitement of uncovering each other's minds waned, and she found herself craving something new. Instead of nurturing the relationship through its natural evolution, she often sought out new connections, convinced that the next person would offer the same intellectual spark. This pattern is not uncommon among highly intelligent individuals. Their minds are wired to seek novelty, constantly pushing the boundaries of understanding. In the absence of intellectual stimulation, they may feel trapped, as if they are stagnating rather than growing. The problem arises when this mindset is applied to relationships, where stability and familiarity are not signs of failure, but indicators of deepening connection. The fear of boredom can lead them to prematurely abandon relationships that could have evolved into something meaningful, mistaking the natural ebb and flow of intimacy for a lack of compatibility. Moreover, the pursuit of novelty often masks a deeper fear: the idea that love, in its purest form, requires vulnerability and emotional consistency, things that may feel restrictive to those who thrive on intellectual independence. Rather than confronting these emotions head-on, they may opt for the comfort of new beginnings, perpetuating a cycle that leaves them feeling unfulfilled. The challenge, then, is not just about finding the right partner, but learning to embrace the depth that comes with enduring love, the kind that transcends excitement and settles into something more profound. Highly intelligent individuals often thrive in solitude. Their minds are engines of innovation, creativity, and problem solving, requiring space to explore ideas without interruption. This self-reliance is a strength in intellectual pursuits, but in relationships, it can become a silent wedge between partners. The belief that they can or must handle everything alone can lead to emotional isolation, creating a dynamic where love feels like a burden rather than a partnership. Take the case of Dr. Adrian Cho, the theoretical physicist we met earlier. Adrian's career demanded long hours of intense focus, and he had grown accustomed to solving complex problems independently. When he entered a romantic relationship, he struggled to shift from this mindset. His partner, Clara, would offer support during stressful moments, but Adrian often dismissed her efforts, insisting he could manage on his own. When Clara expressed frustration, he rationalized his behavior as a sign of strength. After all, needing others was inefficient, right? This pattern is rooted in a deeper psychological tendency. Highly intelligent individuals often equate independence with competence. Their ability to navigate life's challenges through intellect and logic reinforces the belief that relying on others is unnecessary, or even a weakness. While this mindset serves them well in professional settings, it clashes with the fundamental nature of love, which thrives on mutual support, shared responsibility, and emotional interdependence. Highly intelligent people often exhibit heightened activity in the brain's prefrontal cortex, allowing them to manage tasks and solve problems with remarkable efficiency. However, this same neural wiring can make them resistant to delegation or collaboration, especially in emotional contexts. They may view asking for help as a failure to optimize their own capabilities, overlooking the fact that relationships are not about efficiency, they are about connection. The consequences of this overemphasis on independence are profound. Partners may feel excluded, unneeded, or emotionally distant, sensing that their support is neither valued nor reciprocated. Over time, this dynamic erodes trust and intimacy, leaving both individuals feeling disconnected. For the highly intelligent person, the irony is that their greatest strength, self-reliance, can become their greatest obstacle to love. Breaking this cycle requires a conscious effort to embrace interdependence. It means recognizing that love is not about solving problems alone, but about building a shared foundation where both partners contribute their strengths. It means learning to accept help without guilt, to delegate emotional labor, and to see vulnerability as a bridge rather than a barrier. For those who have spent their lives valuing independence above all else, this shift is not easy, but it is essential for cultivating lasting, meaningful relationships. The journey of love for highly intelligent individuals is not one of failure, but of complexity. Their struggles are not signs of inadequacy, but reflections of minds that operate on deeper levels, constantly seeking meaning, control, and understanding. The 8 key reasons explored here: overthinking, fear of vulnerability, perfectionism, perceived superiority, existential depth, fear of stagnation, the weight of expectations, and overemphasis on independence, each reveal a different facet of this intricate dynamic. Yet, awareness is the first step toward transformation. Intelligence does not have to be a hindrance. It can be an asset when tempered with emotional wisdom. Learning to balance logic with intuition, ambition with vulnerability, and curiosity with patience allows for a more holistic approach to love. True intimacy requires surrender, not the abandonment of intellect, but the willingness to let go of rigid expectations and allow emotions to guide the way. Growth in love does not mean suppressing intelligence, but refining it. It means developing emotional resilience, practicing active listening, and understanding that relationships thrive on reciprocity rather than perfection. It means recognizing that love is not about finding someone who meets every ideal, but about building something meaningful with someone who is willing to grow alongside you. For those who have felt lost in the paradox of intelligence and love, there is hope. The very minds that overanalyze, overthink, and overcomplicate can also learn to adapt, evolve, and embrace the beauty of imperfection. With self-awareness, patience, and a willingness to feel as deeply as they think, highly intelligent individuals can navigate love not as a challenge to be conquered, but as a journey to be cherished.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was insightful and educative. If you like this video, do well to click like, share, and subscribe for more insightful videos like this. See you later. Bye.